Welcome inside the Acres Broadcast Center. I'm Tim Mulhaupt, and this is your Sports Nightly Ticker. Welcome into a new week, Huskers fans. It was a busy weekend, and we have plenty to catch you up on tonight's show. Joining us in a few moments will be our special guest host tonight, play-by-play commentator for Huskers softball, Nate Rohr. Nate will be joined by our own Jessica Coody, and later, Huskers softball head coach Rhonda Revell to preview the week ahead for Nebraska softball coming off their victory in the Big Ten tournament. In Hour 2, we'll hear from Nebraska track and field coaches Brent Emanuel and Dusty Jonas following the Huskers Big Ten championship in the 4x400 meter relay, along with a couple other big victories this past weekend. Then later in the second hour, we'll be joined by Chris Plank of the Sooner Radio Network, who will break down the Huskers bracket in softball and the NCAA softball regionals. In pro sports in the MLB tonight, the Tigers and Rays are in the second inning, and it's scoreless in that one. The Nationals and Marlins are also in action in the first inning, where it's 1-0 Washington. In a few moments, a whole slate of games will kick off as the Yankees are in Baltimore to take on the Orioles at 6:05. The Mariners play the Blue Jays at 6:07. The Astros are in Boston to take on the Red Sox at 6:10. And then later tonight, we'll see the Braves battle the Brewers in Milwaukee. That's at 6:40. Also at 6:40, the Pirates will visit the Cubs. The Angels will meet the Rangers at 7:05. The White Sox take on the Royals at 7:10. San Francisco is in Colorado for a 7:40 first pitch. The Twins square off with the A's at 8:40, and the Diamondbacks duel the Dodgers at 9:10 p.m. No NBA or NHL playoffs tonight, as both leagues have the night off before beginning new rounds tomorrow. That's the ticker. I'm Tim Mulhaupt, and this is Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Farrell swings and lifts a high fly ball to right center field. Wilkerson back into right, still going back, and she can't make the catch. It's down for a hit. Kitty around third. She's going to come in to score. Huskers win. Huskers win. Huskers win. 2-1. 3-1 pitch, and that ball's ripped into right field. That's chasing McDonald back. He watches that go over his head and over the wall. That's a 2-run shot for Cam Chick. Straka's first pitch, and Ibarra swings and lines this one to right center field, and it's over the head of LeClaire and right down for a hit. Andrews around third trying to score, and she slides it safely, and Nebraska takes a 2-1 lead in the top of the 8th inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch. This one is lifted into deep center field. Going back is Taylor Jackson, and he's going to watch this one go out a grand slam for Colby Gomez. 3-1 Huskers. First pitch. Livingston grounds to third. Gray to her left has it. Throws to first in time. And Nebraska has won the 2022 Big Ten tournament title for the first time in school history. They've won the Big Ten tournament championship.
Here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Well, happy Monday, everybody. Happy Championship Monday, by the way. I'm Jessica Coody, and we welcome you into Sports Nightly. We've had a little bit of a lineup change up here on this Monday show because Greg Sharpe might still be on a bus headed back from Illinois. So stepping in to help us out here, nobody else better to help us out here on this Monday, as we are going to talk all things Husker softball winning the Big Ten championship, headed to the regional and postseason. Nate Rohr, voice of Husker softball, is in studio with us. Nate, thanks for stepping in and helping us out today.
Man, I was yelling a lot in that intro. Holy cow. It's fortunate that I still have a voice back, but happy to step in and help out, especially with all the good news around Huskers softball over the last few days.
Well, because of the crazy delays at Illinois for Husker baseball yesterday, they ended up deciding to stay the night, and so the bus came back today. We were scheduled to have a Will Bolt show tonight, but we will not have that. But we will have Coach Revell, Rhonda Revell, coming on, joining us here in about 15 minutes or so. So if you have questions, you want to call in, give her a congratulations, or shoot her a text, 402-413-2400. She'll be joining us live here on the show. So get those texts and calls in for her now. But Nate, what a weekend. We find out yesterday where the Huskers are going. It's Stillwater, which, by the way, you were on the show on Thursday. You had projected it might be Stillwater, it might be Norman. I'm actually in Oklahoma because I came down for a funeral, but thought I'd roll the dice thinking, all right, well, they're projected. They might go to an Oklahoma school, and here they are going to Stillwater. I rolled the dice correctly. I'll meet you guys in Stillwater here in a couple of days. But what overall your first reaction to where the Huskers are headed?
I wish I could say I was a little more excited about exactly where Nebraska was headed. Obviously, I'm excited that they're heading into the NCAA regional, but you look at Oklahoma State, and they just came through the Big 12 tournament and knocked off two really good teams. Of course, I'm sure most people know that they beat top-ranked and defending national champion Oklahoma in the Big 12 tournament final. But even before that, they knocked off Texas in the semifinal and got Texas head coach Mike White so riled up that he flipped off the umpires. So anybody,
How about that?
Yeah, anybody that gets the head coach of Texas to forget about his other finger when he's putting up the hook'em horns is a team that's pretty good in my book. So,
and if you needed any more reason to dislike Texas, by the way.
Yeah, that bucket is pretty well full. But but at the same time, OSU is a team that has had a really good year. They have been in the top 10 the entire season. And, when we chatted last week about possible destinations for Nebraska, we know from baseball last year that the NCAA is really worried about regionality. They want teams busing to regionals instead of flying to regionals, and they use a 400-mile radius to determine whether or not you'll bus or fly. Well, Stillwater is technically the only school inside, or the only regional site that we thought would be in that 400-mile radius. So, of course, Stillwater was toward the top of the list. But Missouri, with a run all the way to the SEC tournament final, played their way into a regional host. And so I was pretty hopeful that perhaps Nebraska could get sent there. Instead, another Big Ten team, Illinois, took that spot, and I think that was totally determined by the fact that Illinois could bust to Mizzou, couldn't bust to Oklahoma State, whereas Nebraska could bust both places. So the fact that economics determined that instead of, competitive balance and rewarding Nebraska for a terrific weekend, that's a little disappointing. But, you're going to play somebody really good in a regional. No question about it. You're going to go into a hostile atmosphere one way or another. The ballpark is fairly nice down in Stillwater. They put together a great year, so it's going to be a challenge for Nebraska, but I was kind of hopeful that Mizzou would be the place that Nebraska would get sent, because I think this is a really good Oklahoma State team. They pitch it really well, a very deep pitching staff. Miranda Ellis has had a great year for them. Kelly Maxwell came up with the win in the Big 12 tournament. So Oklahoma State's a really good team, and I think Nebraska got a pretty tough draw. But, at some point we'll figure out that this is not a Nebraska team to count out of any fight, any competition, because the way they ruled through the Big Ten tournament and the way they fought and came back and competed, they can beat anybody.
Yeah, this is not a team that's scared of anybody. I don't think they would have cared where they were going. They're ready to fight and play anybody. I did want to note, though, Oklahoma State beat Oklahoma in extras in the Big 12 title game, but Jordy Ball did not pitch a single inning of the Big 12 championship tournament. She's out with an injury, uncertain when she will be available for Oklahoma. Maybe not even this weekend, maybe not even Super Regional weekend. So Oklahoma State did beat Oklahoma without their ace. Even still, no doubt an impressive victory given Oklahoma's dominance throughout the season. But I don't think Nebraska is a team that's going to back down from anybody by any means, but they will have to take care of North Texas first. That's the first matchup, 5 o'clock on Friday. So we're going to keep diving into this matchup and get you all set for that this weekend. But before we get too far into that, let's go back and the Big Ten title. Nate, how exciting was Saturday afternoon? It started in Saturday morning, but to see this team holding up a trophy at the end of that game in extras in the 8th inning, for them to do what they did, How exciting was that day?
It was absolutely as exciting as it gets, and you have everything that went into it. The fact that Nebraska had the dramatic victory the day before against Ohio State, a walk-off win. They're coming in with momentum. The fact that it's Michigan, and even though the Wolverines had a quote-unquote down year, quote-unquote down for them is finishing fourth in the Big Ten Conference. And the Huskers had beaten them in a pair of games right at the beginning of conference season in March. So you have the elite matchup. You have especially a tough matchup in the circle with Alex Storako, who's an All-America level pitcher and a top-notch pitcher in her own right. And then as the game unfolds, you know, it's a dogfight. It's low scoring. The tournament was inordinately low scoring. It's not that great a pitcher's park. It wasn't like the wind was howling in, but for whatever reason, the pitchers really showed out this weekend, and the Huskers hung in there against a very good Michigan team and a Wolverine team that seems to have put it together at the end of the year. I got to be honest with you, when the game moved to the bottom of the seventh inning and Michigan had tied it up, I was worried about the Huskers' chances. I wasn't sure, you looked at the part of Nebraska's order and you looked at where Michigan was in their order. The Huskers had done very little offensively over the last couple innings of regulation. Meanwhile, Michigan had the top of their order coming up and in fact had 2 on with none out in that inning. Then the decision to change out Olivia Farrell, who had pitched pretty well through 6 innings, but was starting to lose some gas, and Michigan was starting to find her, and Courtney Wallace comes out of the bullpen and comes up with a huge pitch and a ground ball that started a double play that got Nebraska out of that inning, or started to get them out of that inning anyway. And then, of course, Cami Barra comes up with a big hit. And in thinking about this team and thinking about this season, I hope folks don't lose sight of how important Cami Barra has been to this whole run and really to the whole season. She's maybe the most emotionally consistent player on this team, the steadiest player on the team, always puts out high-level production. She's playing the best softball of her career, and of course she comes up with a big hit after she started the big double play, and then the Huskers tack on one more run with Sydney Gray. But Cami Barra was really at the center of everything for the Huskers in that late rally that gave them the victory over Michigan. And to knock off the Wolverines is notable anytime you're able to pull it off, and especially for a third time in a season, that's a huge deal.
All right, well, I'm told that the coach is in studio, has arrived in studio. The Big Ten champion head coach Rhonda Revell will be joining us live on the show. So if you got questions for her, want to give her a congratulations, shout out 402-413-2400. That is our Woodhouse Auto Family hotline, and we're going to talk all things. We're going to keep diving into this Big Ten championship over the weekend with Coach Revell. The Sports Nightly hotline is brought to you by Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first. 18 brands, 16 convenient locations. Simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com. Rhonda Revell up next here on Sports Nightly.
A DUI is everything you didn't prepare for. You did not save for it. You did not train for it. You did not go to school for it. You did not raise your family or buy a house or get a job for it. It is not your life goal or a dream come true. You have planned for everything in your life. You did not plan for a DUI. Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Happy Monday, everybody!
Yay! Sure glad the weekend is over.
I know. Nothing's better than a new work week.
Yay! The proceeding was a dramatization, but it could happen now that a Monday night Powerball drawing has been added. Along with the Wednesday and Saturday night drawings, now you can also win Monday Night Millions. Who knows? It may change everyone's view of Monday.
Let's have a 3-hour Monday meeting.
Yay! Powerball from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Preparation. It's the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pregame routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, Ice-cold beverages to wash them down and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it is safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief, nutrition, or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. At Nebraska, our people will always be our greatest asset. Day by day, donors give our teams the best opportunity to compete and win through their generous donations. Our vision for the future is ambitious and requires help from those who want to see Husker athletics excel at the highest level. Go big and join thousands of other Huskers Athletic Fund members with your gift today at huskers.com/donate.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
You always dreamed of owning your own farm. Now you're living your dream, and it's time to pick the tractor that makes it all come together. Massey Ferguson has reinvented what compact and utility tractors can be and redefined what they do, making them easier to operate, more comfortable to drive, more versatile than ever. Massey Ferguson gives Nebraska farmers the power and performance to win in the field. Manzer Equipment in Osmond, Nebraska, your full-time Massey Ferguson dealer, proud supporters of the Huskers and Nebraska farmers since 1975.
When you're a sports fan, it's kind of like having a new love interest. You want to know all about them. Only instead of learning about someone's third-grade crush, you want to know the latest scores, stats, and lineups. To get that, you need Cox Internet. Cox gives you that window to look deeply into your beloved team's soul, not to mention their injury list. Cox, we're sports 24/7. Learn more at cox.com/sports.
From sprains and stitches to sore throats and sinus infections, when it's care that can't wait, count on CHI Health Clinic Priority Care. Simply walk in 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You'll get the quality care you need without an appointment, and you'll never pay more than a regular primary care visit. Get in, get out, and get on with your day. Find a location near you at chihealth.com/priority care.
Everyone knows that Dakota Mac is known for their great rates on long-term fixed ag real estate loans. But just how long-term are they? Well, even longer term than your first ride on the Gravitron at the county fair. And even longer term than the line to buy the corn dog you definitely shouldn't have eaten before you got on the Gravitron. Oof, so long-term.
Hi, it's Nick Luxinger from Dakota Mac. Give me a call at 402-740-6445 to learn all about our competitive rates on 30-year fixed-rate loans.
Nate Rohr and Jessica Coody back with you on Sports Nightly from the Acres Broadcast Center. Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Well, Nebraska softball had a lot of solutions on the field at Sekia Stadium this past weekend as they go 3-0, and for the first time in school history, the Huskers win the Big Ten softball tournament, and we are joined by the championship coach of Nebraska softball, guiding her 21st team to regionals in 30 years as a head coach, Rhonda Revell. Coach Revell, first off, congratulations. What emotions went through your mind and through you as Nebraska finished off that extra inning win over Michigan on Saturday?
Well, I had a lot of emotions before the game and throughout the game, and even going into the bottom of the 8th when I knew I needed to call pitches, I had to do a little talking to myself, like, hold it together, Rhonda, like hold it together and stay focused. And I think the reason for that, Nate, is, and we talked about it a little bit today at practice, and maybe I'll get a chance to get more in depth with this, but I think Diane Miller said it best. She said of all the teams she's ever coached in the history of her coaching, and I echoed that, and I've been coaching a lot longer because I'm a lot older than she is, but this team has come the farthest. They've traveled the most miles, and they're learning on the fly. One of the questions I got last night after the selection show was, you only have 2 players that have ever played in postseason, and they didn't have Nebraska uniforms on. So what do you think about as we head into postseason? Well, of course, I intimated to them that I felt like that Big Ten tournament was postseason. It really had a postseason feel. But I think Diane said it best today at practice, that they are taking in information and they're assimilating it and they're using it and acting like veterans in moments that they don't really have that experience. And that's been really fun to watch and see.
You mentioned the journey that this team had. Oh, sorry, Jessica, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. I was just going to say, Coach, I'm in Oklahoma waiting for you guys to get here.
I know. That's what I heard. So you're getting it all warmed up, right?
I'm ready for you guys to get here. I'm so excited. But I had to ask you about, we had Courtney on a while ago, and she was joking about the Gatorade bath, that there was a miscommunication, and Carly went a little too early, got a little too excited, and you saw it coming, and then you just stepped into it, like you were embracing it.
You know what? I could feel how much they just wanted to do that. And I'm like, you know what? They've earned this moment. But then they missed me. I mean, I didn't realize until I saw the picture, about 3/4 of it missed me. So I'm not sure how they did that.
I know it felt good, though, either way.
Felt great.
We haven't had a lot of practice with Gatorade baths lately. And you talked about how far this team has come. And the last 5 years have been somewhat difficult for this program. And this team put in a bunch of work to make what this season has been happen. That really started in June. Have you had a group that has started with that level of focus and that early determination to start building that early in an off season?
Not with that much detail. I think when we've had years of a lot of consistent years of being in postseason, and that's obviously the goal, to get back to that rhythm and that habit. But, we understood, I think teams when we were in that rhythm understood that the summertime was really important physical time to, get in the weight room and do all that kind of stuff. But this team knew that more heavy lifting needed to do, and the work of leadership and team building and continuing to add to what has become a really positive and dynamic culture. But we also understand that culture is something that you need to tend to. It's like a garden, it can grow weeds really quickly if you don't tend to it. So, and they're doing a really nice job of that. So there are just so many, yesterday I got up and, we got in pretty late, but I got up and I just sat there and I had a cup of coffee and I thought, I'm a writer and I thought I need to journal. And I had so many emotions overtake me that I really couldn't journal. But I thought, well, at least get bullet points down, because if you get bullet points down, you'll be able to recapture this. And the reason I even bring that up, Nate, is because there has been so much that this group of young women have done to bring us to this point.
Coach, got a question for you in our chat, on our YouTube chat. Did the team do anything special to celebrate the win? That one's from Children of the Corn.
Well, I think everything they do, they consider special. So whether it's their cheer on the bus before we get off, or just the moments that they share together. Like I thought we had a really cool moment yesterday in the locker room, and there was nothing before we actually went out to the selection show, and there was nothing spectacular about it, but they were all in there waiting for the coaches. And I said, what are you guys doing here already? And they're like, well, you told us to be here at 5:15, and it was like 5:10 when I walked in there. But they were all sitting there on their stools in front of their locker and just leaning in. And the fact that their body language was all leaning in, to me, that was like, we're ready to be back together. And that's a special celebration moment. But I'll tell you, I think probably the biggest celebration for this team hasn't been an actual action. It's what they're saying to each other, that they just don't want it to end. They want to keep it going. And that's celebration enough right there.
Buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office, chatting with head softball coach Rhonda Revell here on Sports Nightly. The Huskers win the Big Ten tournament, first time in school history, 40 wins for the first time since 2014, and now going to the NCAA regionals in 2016. And we mentioned only 2 Huskers have played in the NCAA regionals, neither as Huskers. What did your team learn making that run out in East Lansing in the Big Ten tournament that you think will transfer over well to regionals?
Well, first of all, the environment of East Lansing was really festive and really good. And then Saturday playing Michigan, it was like a home crowd for them. You know, they didn't have to travel very far down the road to come and support their Wolverines. So right there. Secondly, I mean, we have 7 teams in the NCAA tournament from the conference. And as we ran through that tournament, we faced all conference, and I heard you talk about Stracco earlier, an All-American pitcher. We faced that level of pitching in all 3 games. And so the low scoring, the having to play defense, the having to, almost looking back at a game and going, wow, how do we get out of that? That's postseason right there. So we've lived that. We've really hung in the balance of playing pitch to pitch and moment by moment. And that's postseason. And timely hitting, that's postseason. So I just feel like there were a lot of things that we've been able to talk about even since then and say, look, you've just played in postseason. All the things that happen in postseason, you just experienced.
Coach, you talked a lot about this started in the last out of last season, and you had some leaders come to you and talk about, what they wanted to accomplish this year. But it's a process to get to this point, right? So was there a moment where you thought, okay, this team's going to accomplish that. We're going to get to what we talked about almost a year ago, what we wanted to accomplish and getting back to the postseason. Was there a specific moment that you thought, okay, this is a special team?
There have been a lot of moments that I've known that this is a special team, but I will tell you, and I don't know if the players felt this way, but I didn't get too far ahead. I really wanted to just stay in the moment and in the process. And I know that that's a lot of, those are a lot of cliche statements, but as I've really worked very diligently myself to be that with them and for them, it really is the way to go. And, I remember Coach Osborne, he never talked about winning, but he always talked so much about the process. And, he's a genius for a reason, and his words stand the test of time. And, it's just reinforced for me as a coach that wants to be a lifelong learner that you keep talking about chasing excellence in all things, and in the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And then, you just stay together as a team, and a lot of times really special things happen, and that's the case with this team.
You mentioned the Big Ten Conference, and we found out yesterday, of course, not only is Nebraska in the tournament, 7 Big Ten teams make the NCAA regionals. That's a very high number for this league. I know this conference was disappointed last year when, with a league-only schedule, only 3 Big Ten teams made it into regionals. What does it say about the conference that this year 7 teams get in?
Well, I think it says what we felt last year, because the conference was just as good last year. We know we have pitching. We know we have got high-level athletes. We feel like we can compete with anybody in the country. I'm really excited to see what happens this weekend for our conference. And I also want to tip my hat to the coaches in the conference, because we got together and we made a concerted effort. We're competitors, when we're in the other dugouts, but we made a concerted effort that we're going to try to lift this conference at a national level. And so from our scheduling for our non-conference to just, even talking about tactical measures, even how to promote our universities and draw the interest of high-level student athletes, especially the high-level student athletes.
Coach, we had another question for you on the chat from Crypto. He was just asking about how special it was to share the moment with your assistant coaches and how big of a role they played in this special run to win the Big Ten title.
Well, they've played a huge role, with Diana as our hitting coach, our offensive coordinator, and Lori as our pitching coach, and everything that goes on in pitching in our sport. And I will say to you, this is a long-standing staff. I don't know that there's a staff in the country, maybe one, that has been together longer. But, Lori Sipple, and it's her birthday today, so happy birthday, Coach
Happy
Sip.
birthday.
She and I have worked every day side by side together for nearly 30 years now. And I think one time Matt Smith figured out that between myself and Lori playing at Nebraska and then also coaching at Nebraska, we have been a part of, it might be 90% of all NCAA played softball games in the history of Nebraska softball. So it's obviously, like I said in my tweet today when I told her happy birthday, she is the most committed, the most respectful, and there's not a Husker softball alum that loves this program more than Lori Sipple. And then Diane Miller, she's in her, I believe, her 15th year with us, and, she is just, when we recruited her to be our hitting coach, it was really, we wanted a top-level recruiter, a top-level teacher, a top-level relationship builder, and somebody that knew what they were talking about with hitting, and we felt like we hit a home run with her, and just really grateful for this staff. And then our volunteer coach, Mackenzie Steele, has added a lot too, and she's really enjoying today because her alma mater, the Howard Bison, coached by Nebraska alum Tori Tyson, are making their first appearance into the NCAA. So I want to give a shout out to Tori Tyson and the Howard Bison too.
You mentioned that pitching staff. It's Lori Sipple's birthday, so on a statewide network, I'll say it. Happy birthday, Sip. But this pitching staff that has shown itself this year with Olivia Farrell pitching her best ball of her Husker career as a senior. Courtney Wallace pitching about as well as she has in her Husker career. How have you seen those two develop in the circle and then as leaders since they're two of your three tri-captains?
Right. Well, I think Liv, it started with just feeling like she had a gift handed to her, an extra year, and she just wanted to maximize every moment. It's never been about her want or her work. She's always put in as much work as anybody, but I think that, for her, I think she really settled into what are my strengths as a pitcher? And, rather than trying to compare herself to other pitchers in the league or other pitchers around the country, I think that's been really a great testament to her. It's just trying to be the best version of Olivia Farrell. And she's done a really nice job and pitched some really big games and had some really big moments for us. And then Courtney Wallace, Court, I keep telling Courtney, you've been our visionary leader. She's the one that says, hey, it's a race to 40. And then she reminded me when we won the Big Ten championship on Saturday, she goes, Coach, that's 40, by the way. It's kind of like, I told you we were going to get there. And so that has been fun, too. But I think with Courtney as well is she's had to understand what she does best as a pitcher. So I think for a lot of young people, they want to compare themselves to others versus just, what do I do best? It's like I was standing there with Courtney and her dad said, I really think it helped Court when she realized, I might not be that pitcher that's going to get 10 plus strikeouts a game, but I can roll ground balls and I can keep them off balance with my off speed. And I'm like, you keep talking, John, you keep talking.
All right, got a text from you on our Woodhouse Auto Family text line. What a nice bow to tie on to the 2020 Huskers softball package by winning the Big Ten championship. Congratulations to all the Huskers and coaches. After assuming Northwestern would be in the heat of the battle, yet didn't specifically factor at the end. Now it's on to bigger and greater heights, which hopefully will result into a deep, deep top finish in the regional against top competition. So let's talk about that and what's next for this team and overall your reaction to heading to Stillwater to face North Texas and potentially Oklahoma State.
Well, first of all, you're just grateful when you get in, right? And then once you know you're getting in, and that was the greatest thing about last night is we knew we were going to see our name. And then I thought, it doesn't really matter where we go, but we've been on a plane an awful lot. So I thought if there's any place we can go and get on a bus, that's going to be a bonus. So check. And, the fact that we're coming back to familiar country and old Big 12 footprint for us, I think that's great. We know that fan base down there is going to be just very vibrant. Our outfielders are already being warned what to expect from their party plank or whatever they call it out there in the outfield.
Yeah, I'm told they bring their paddle people in from if you watch football games and they bang their paddles against the pads on the side of the football stadium, those people are going to be in the softball stadium.
Okay, well, we're turning up the volume. So I apologize to anybody that lives by Bowling Stadium. We're going to be turning up the volume at practice so we can work on communication, in a hostile environment. So that'll be great. And then the other thing, North Texas, we haven't played them since 2011, and they have done a great job, and I'm just starting my film review. I know Diane's doing the same thing with pitchers, but they are competitive. They play everybody tough. They played Oklahoma State early in the year, and I think it was a 2-2 ball game heading into the 7th, so that tells you a lot right there.
You look at this regional with North Texas, and you mentioned it, 2 good pitchers, and Ashley Peters and Skylar Savage, both with ERAs under 3. And what impressions have you been able to form of their staff and that team just in your early film work? I know you've got a lot ahead of you,
right.
But what have you been able to see?
Right. Well, Peters is a left-handed pitcher, and we've seen a lot of lefties lately, so I feel like that's helpful. She also pitched at Purdue last year, and we saw her last year. I think that's helpful. The thing that's different about both of these pitchers is they're more, their game is more in the lower part of the zone, and the last 3 games we've faced pitching in the upper part of the zone. So, we've started that. We started film prep today, and we also started our machine prep and live prep with that as well.
Nate, you got anything else for Coach? What time do we, of course, I'm following your lead here. What time do we need to be out of here?
Well, I think that about wraps it up. I know you guys had a short workout today at Bowling Stadium, and I guess that would be kind of my last question. What does the rest of the week look like for your team as you try to get them ready at the end of a season that has been over 50 games?
Right, yeah. So today we actually had a longer practice planned than we executed, and we got about halfway through it, and I walked over to Coach Sipple, again, 30 years of working with people, and I started to say, they are 100% invested. And she goes, I know, go with your gut. Because I started thinking it was just 48 hours ago that we won a Big Ten championship, and just the emotion, that's energy. And then coming back last night to the selection show, a lot of emotion, that's energy. And getting back into Lincoln about 1 o'clock on Sunday morning, that is taxing too. So we cut it off. We went out in right field and did a nice stretch, and then we fed them and said, get rested, and we'll hit it again hard tomorrow. So we'll really, in earnest, start our live game speed reps tomorrow, and then we'll practice Wednesday before we take off to Stillwater, and then we'll get a practice on Thursday on their field.
Well, we're looking forward to it. It's a good day to sharpen the axe today and then get back to work chopping tomorrow. But congratulations on a terrific season, a great run in the Big Ten tournament, and hopefully some more great days ahead for this Huskers softball program.
Thank you, Nate. And I just want to thank you all for the coverage that you've given us, and thank our fans, and just everybody's been just really wonderful, and really we're really gracious. Our team spoke at the end of practice. The question I ask is, I want them to enjoy this moment. You just don't know how many memories you're going to have like this in your life, and so I really want them to soak it in. And so the question that I ask at the end of practice is, what has created the most joy, or have you felt the most grateful for, or maybe an unexpected surprise? And the very first thing that was mentioned was actually by our freshman Ava Bredwell, and she said, I just can tell from reading what people have to say that it's bringing them joy and happiness, and that makes me feel good. And our whole team chimed in about that. So, to put a human side to this, it's bringing the red team joy to help others feel joy and excitement.
Well, they have certainly brought a lot of joy to Husker fans this year, and have brought 40 wins to the people. I mean, that alone is a pretty marked joy. We do have a caller, Mike from Omaha, calling in. We'll sneak him on before the break. Mike, welcome into Sports Nightly. How are you?
Hey, is the coach still there?
She is, yes.
Hey, you mentioned about Coach Osborne and not talking about winning, but doing the things that lead to winning. One thing I notice a lot is the footwork of the team as basically the tennis footwork that all you guys are doing, even your outfielders. So I think you're all getting a better jump than I've ever seen.
Well, thank you.
I got a question about a couple of plays in that game Sunday that the one where they reviewed it, well, whether there was a tag or is it possible that they said she ran outside the base path? I mean, I can't tell from what they did.
Well, that would have been my next question had the review not gone our way, because when I looked at it, I didn't actually see it again until last night, and it did look like she did that also. But, you know, our players were talking about how nervous they were because how long it was taking. But what I explained to them today is that they initially called a double play, and when they're taking that long, it usually means that they have inconclusive evidence, and they can't overturn a call if they have inconclusive evidence, which means the play will stand. Now, it was grainy. I don't know if you were able to see the review. It was grainy, but again, as I looked last night, I thought Cam had the tag, and I did think she was also outside the baseline.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was so close. But Ibarra, is that her name? The one that had the big hits?
Yes, Ibarra. Mm-hmm.
I love her swing. It just seems like it's powerful yet compact, and I would recommend as many people swing like that as possible. And boy, that was huge. But on that hit she had, I thought the outfielder botched it up, and then I couldn't believe she threw to second base instead of hitting the cutoff person. I mean, do you agree, or am I wrong?
I saw that unfolding. I know exactly what you're talking about, Mike, and that's exactly why I didn't hesitate to send Billy, because I saw that line unfolding, and I thought that's where she might throw it, so I thought that would play to our favor.
And Billy's got some wheels, by the way.
Billy's fast. I don't know if I could have stopped her if I would have wanted to, though.
Mike, that cover it?
You bet. Thanks a lot.
Hey, thanks for calling in, Mike. And, Coach, thank you for your time tonight, and what a run for your team. And we'll let you rest up and get ready to finish up prepping for North Texas and the regional down in Stillwater.
Thank you. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Jessica.
Coach.
See you down there.
There's
All right.
the head softball coach, Rhonda Revell, and we had a caller join us on the Sports Nightly hotline, brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first. 18 brands, 16 convenient locations, simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com.
The 2022 Nissan Rogue Sport is street savvy, road trip ready, and always fun to drive. Equipped with standard features like rear automatic braking, blind spot warning, and high beam assist, so you can surround yourself with confidence on the road. Plus, explore the 3 Rogue Sport trims to find the one that's right for you and your lifestyle. Choose your experience and shop, finance, and purchase online at woodhouse.com or in store at Woodhouse Nissan in Bellevue or at Woodhouse Place.
A tradition of winning doesn't happen overnight. Like any team, you gotta be tough, play smart, and work hard. No one understands this more than Ford Motor Company. They built the best team in the game with Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks 45 years straight, the iconic Ford Bronco, and the most powerful Ford Explorer ever. Shop online at buyfordnow.com or visit your local Ford dealer to buy or custom build the perfect truck or SUV for you. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. This one is hammered out in center field, sending Jackson back towards the warning track, and this one's gone. It gets over. And Max Anderson with a 2-run bomb, and the Huskers take an early lead 2-0.
Tomorrow, Nebraska baseball will take on the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles at 6:35 p.m. Central. Huskers Radio Network pregame coverage will begin at 6. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Whether you compete on the court, at the track, on the field, or in the fields, winning isn't just a goal. It's a mindset, shaped, honed, and defined throughout the season. That's why farmers pushing themselves to be the best plant DeKalb brand corn. Wherever you compete, winning has roots. Perform at your best with DeKalb. Always read and follow grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
2-ball pitch, and Gray swings and lifts it. Deep left field, all the way back, and it is gone! A towering home run over the scoreboard and left, and the Huskers take the lead!
The Nebraska softball team moves into regionals for the first time since 2016. Hear all the action on selected Huskers Radio Network affiliates, Huskers.com, and the official Nebraska Athletics app.
Touchdown, Nebraska! Nebraska.
If you're doing business in Nebraska, the best way to connect your organization with the excitement surrounding the Huskers is through a partnership with Nebraska Athletics. You can take your business to the next level by reaching loyal Husker fans through in-venue signage, digital and social media, radio advertising, and more. Join the Husker team today and email partners@huskers.com to learn more about opportunities to connect with Husker Nation. That's partners@huskers.com.
Shop Woodhouse Ford first and experience the difference. The all-new 2022 Bronco Sport is built wild for the thrill seeker, the sightseer, and the day tripper. A capable and dependable SUV that's ready to tackle the dirt, dust, and mud. Bronco Sport offers 4 models to match the way you explore the outdoors. Shop, finance, and buy your way. Online at woodhouseford.com or one of our 3 convenient Ford locations in Blair, Omaha, or Plattsmouth.
Nothing goes better with Husker sports than Fairbury. Fairbury, premium quality hot dogs deliver the home game experience to your family and friends. The highest quality beef, pork, and natural spices give you the best tasting hot dog and your hometown favorite Big Red hot dog. Look for Fairbury hot dogs all year long at your local grocery store. Fairbury, the official hot dog of the Huskers and Nebraska fans everywhere. At Great Western Bank, they understand what commitment to community means. It's more than setting up shop. For Great Western Bank, commitment means growing together and serving their communities. With more than 50 locations in Nebraska, they are dedicated to making life great. Thank you, Lincoln, for allowing them to be a part of this great community. Great Western Bank, member FDIC.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. During the summer of 2021, 3 UNL students helped safeguard cattle across the state. Neely Anderson, Tatiana Jones, and Ashton Commons developed secure beef supply plans that prevent the spread of disease outbreak. The plans protect nearly 850,000 cattle across our state and provide greater economic security for this vital industry.
And now it's time to see what's on tap, presented by Bud Light. Well, the Nebraska baseball team is back in action tomorrow night at Hawks Field, Haymarket Park, against perennial Summit League power Oral Roberts. 6 o'clock pregame, 6:35 first pitch from Haymarket Park, and then Husker baseball closes out their regular season with a 3-game set against Michigan State starting Thursday night. 6 o'clock pregame, 6:35 first pitch here on the Huskers Radio Network. Meanwhile, Nebraska softball is in NCAA regionals for the first time since 2016. They'll start play Friday evening against North Texas down in Stillwater, Oklahoma. First pitch at 5, pregame at 4:50 here on the Huskers Radio Network. Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. We'll step aside for a moment and wrap up hour 1 after this.
At Groundworks, we take great pride in helping our Nebraska neighbors keep their homes healthy. From repairing foundations to waterproofing basements to fixing crawl spaces or lifting concrete driveways. We'd like to think our customers choose us because of our attention to detail or the fact that we're the nation's leading foundation solutions provider. What gives our customers the most comfort is we're right here in Nebraska. Visit groundworks.com for a free estimate. Groundworks, foundation solutions crafted with pride. The official foundation company of the Huskers.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it is safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief, nutrition, or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there's no place that treats you like home like Sapp Brothers. For 50 years, Sapp Brothers has fueled America's heartland and been a reliable partner to local farms and Husker fans across Nebraska. providing the highest quality fuel, lubricants, and propane, servicing your farming equipment and welcoming guests into their travel centers. Visit www.sapbros.net. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Husker Athletics.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You already got the hat, the jersey, maybe even the occasional red and white face paint. So kick things off right this season and add the FNBO Husker Visa debit card to the list. Pay loud and proud for every Husker decal, t-shirt, or hot dog at the game. Wear your heart on your sleeve and in your wallet with the Husker Visa debit card. Free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
Visit the truck experts at Woodhouse Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Blair for all your new Ram truck needs. From the most awarded light-duty truck in America, the 2022 Ram 1500, to the hardworking and capable 2022 Ram 2500, we have the truck to get the job done. Stop out for a test drive in Blair during the Make the Switch event or shop, finance, and buy online with eShop at WoodhouseChryslerJeepDodge.com.
Welcome back to our final segment here of hour number 1 of Sports Nightly. Nate Rohr, Jessica Coody with you. And if you want to be a part of the show, 402-413-2400. That's our Sports Nightly hotline. Brought to you by Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first, 18 brands, 16 convenient locations. Simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com. Just a couple more minutes here left of hour number 1. And you'd mentioned that baseball's back in action this weekend. Final home series. They got Senior Day coming up on Saturday, but not only that, it's going to be their Military Appreciation Day, and they're going to be giving away free hats to the first 1,000 fans. But if you have an active military ID, you're going to be in free general admission. So big day coming up this weekend at the ballpark. Come check them out. Still not out of it, right? But what a heartbreaker last night after a crazy day. Weather delays, all of the above, and just, in the ninth inning, bottom of the ninth, couldn't get it done.
Yeah, it's just been a frustrating year this year for Nebraska baseball as they've dropped several of those games late, and unfortunately, at this stage of the season, the way their year has gone, when you have lost a few games late like that, there's a mentality, there's a thought of, oh, geez, here we go again. And unfortunately, that bit the Huskers again at the end of a very tough, long day yesterday. So disappointed for those guys, and hopefully they can finish out the regular season with a good showing against Michigan State and push their way into the Big Ten tournament up in Omaha.
Yeah, from my calculations, they are not eliminated yet, but they pretty much do need to win every single game this weekend and get a little bit of help elsewhere, but absolutely not done yet, not out of it, but got to take care of business and just do what they can do, and that's win day by day this weekend. All right, so that is hour number 1 for you. Coming up here in hour number 2, we're going to talk a little Nebraska track and field. One of the biggest upsets of the day was thanks to the 4x400 meter relay at the very end of the meet. So we're going to dive into all of that, and we're going to keep breaking down this regional with Nebraska softball. A big one coming up this weekend as they'll head to Stillwater. Nate, you're going to stick around with us, right?
I'll still be here. I'm excited to hear from OU softball voice Chris Plank. He's got a good 30,000-foot perspective on all this, so interested to hear his breakdown.
All right, well, we're back with hour number 2 here on Sports Nightly next.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Fuel your curiosities and inspire your lifeblood with the first ever Mazda CX-50, available now at both Woodhouse Mazda locations. The remarkably intuitive standard all-wheel drive Mazda CX-50 is responsive, making the driver's connection to the road natural across a wide variety of driving scenarios. An interior where form and function meet, making the cabin luxurious and durable. See the first ever CX-50 online at WoodhouseMazda.com or in the showroom in Bellevue or at Woodhouse Place off 144th and Giles Road.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. The university has a new undergraduate business and law major. Students majoring in business and law are learning to use legal knowledge to better solve business challenges. They are also gaining skills in regulatory compliance, financial services, securities regulation, and corporate social responsibility. Upon graduation, they will boost the state's talent pool in these critical areas of expertise.
Hy-Vee Mealtime to Go is mealtime made easy. Just order delicious meals online for convenient curbside pickup or have it delivered. Want breakfast? Hy-Vee Mealtime to Go. Need lunch? Hy-Vee Mealtime to Go. Doing dinner? Hy-Vee Mealtime to Go. Get pancakes, burgers, fried chicken, lasagna, Hai-Chai Asian dishes, sushi, pizza, and more. If you're craving it, Hy-Vee Mealtime to Go has it with curbside pickup or delivery. Order today at Hy-Vee.com/mealtime.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Farrell swings and lifts a high fly ball to right center field. Wilkinson back into right, still going back, and she can't make the catch. It's down for a hit. Kitty around third. She's going to come in to score. Huskers win. Huskers win. Huskers win. 2-1.
3-1 pitch, and that ball's ripped into right field. That's chasing McDonald back. He watches that go over his head and over the wall. That's a 2-run shot for Cam Chick.
Straka's first pitch, and Ibarra swings and lines this one to right center field, and it's over the head of LeClaire and right down for a hit. Andrews around third trying to score, and she slides in safely, and Nebraska takes a 2-1 lead in the top of the 8th inning.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. This one is lifted into deep center field. Going back is Taylor Jackson, and he's going to watch this one go out a grand slam for Colby Gomez.
3-1 Huskers. First pitch. Livingston grounds to third. Gray to her left has it. Throws to first in time. And Nebraska has won the 2022 Big Ten Tournament title for the first time in school history. They've won the Big Ten Tournament championship.
Here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Welcome back to hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, joined by Nate Rohr, helping us out on this Monday evening. And big recruiting news over the weekend. We can't name specifics, can't talk specifics, but we are definitely following it. And as soon as those guys become official, we will bring it to you here on Sports Nightly. But recruiting picking up hot and heavy, and there's been a lot of buzz for this Nebraska football team here in the offseason. Nate, what's been your take of all of the big news and the recruiting buzz? And it has been exciting. It's been an exciting offseason for sure.
They've certainly worked in the transfer portal about as hard as they can. I mean, this is the brave new world of college football where recruiting, before was a 12 months a year endeavor, but now it's on a high gear basically the entire season. And you're talking about recruiting players at the high school level, at the junior college level, and now you almost need like the equivalent of a director of pro personnel from the standpoint of evaluating other players who might be looking for somewhere else to play. So the activity that this Nebraska coaching staff has shown in the recruiting portal speaks to the fact that they know where the holes are on this team. They have seen where they need to build up, where they need to get a little stronger coming into the season. And, it's no secret that the defensive line was fairly thin. Well, they've aggressively recruited the defensive line. They've gotten some quality defensive back recruiting done. So I think this Husker coaching staff has done a terrific job of really addressing what this team needs. I mean, it goes all the way back to adding Casey Thompson as the quarterback to this roster, and even what they were able to do at running back. So this Husker coaching staff has remained aggressive in the portal, and I think that's set up this football season a whole lot better.
All right, we got to keep this first segment short because we got a lot to get to for you, but we appreciate you helping us out here tonight. Final thoughts as the Huskers head to Stillwater. What's it going to take for Nebraska to get out of the regional and maybe potentially punch a ticket to a super regional?
Well, I think the Big Ten tournament was good preparation for this Nebraska team as far as playing well in a general sense in postseason, but also taking care of the regional that's before them. North Texas has a pretty good pitching staff. Oklahoma State has a great pitching staff. Team ERA under 2. So this Husker team has to get used to winning low-scoring games, and to an extent they were able to work well in those low-run environments in East Lansing. So just be prepared for tight, low-scoring games and continue to get great pitching from Olivia Farrell and Courtney Wallace.
All right, Nate, thanks again for helping us out tonight. Can't wait to hear your call of this one coming up Friday beginning at 4:50 for the pregame show.
I'm excited to do it. Should be a lot of fun, and thanks for having me tonight.
All right, the Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first, 18 brands, 16 convenient locations. Simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com. We're talking Nebraska track and field coming up right after this.
When you've escaped the screens and the sun bathes everything in a golden glow, and your friend hands you a cold organic beer that tastes as perfect as nature itself. That's pure gold. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, the first national USDA certified organic beer. Organic by nature. Enjoy responsibly. 2020 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, St. Louis, Missouri.
At Nebraska, our people will always be our greatest asset. Day by day, donors give our teams the best opportunity to compete and win through their generous donations. Our vision for the future is ambitious and requires help from those who want to see Husker athletics excel at the highest level. Go big and join thousands of other Huskers Athletic Fund members with your gift today at huskers.com/donate.
Hey folks, this is Famous Dave. You know the difference between an ordinary get-together and a famous one? At most parties, the food's pretty forgettable. But imagine your table loaded with award-winning barbecue, chopped pork sandwiches, roasted chicken, and mouth-watering juicy ribs. From birthdays to corporate events, any size groups, we'll customize our menu to fit your budget. Make your next get-together fun and famous with catering from Famous Dave's. Visit famousdaves.com.
The Nebraska FFA is growing leaders
and building communities.
Together, we are strengthening agriculture.
The Nebraska FFA Foundation believes in our future leaders and the communities they serve. We believe in the future of agriculture.
Join us in the I Believe in the Future of Ag campaign. Learn more at neFFAfoundation.org. Brought to you by Chief Industries, trusted, tested, true. And Country Partners Cooperative. Together, we can.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey folks, this is Famous Dave. You know the difference between an ordinary get-together and a famous one? At most parties, the food's pretty forgettable. But imagine your table loaded with award-winning barbecue, chopped pork sandwiches, roasted chicken, and mouth-watering juicy ribs. From birthdays to corporate events, any size groups, we'll customize our menu to fit your budget. Make your next get-together fun and famous with catering from Famous Dave's. Visit famousdaves.com.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. This one is hammered out in center field, sending Jackson back towards the warning track, and this one's gone. It gets over. And Max Anderson with a 2-run bomb, and the Huskers take an early lead 2-0.
Tomorrow, Nebraska baseball will take on the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles at 6:35 p.m. Central. Huskers Radio Network pregame coverage will begin at 6. Tune into your local affiliate or at huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
A tradition of winning doesn't happen overnight. Like any team, you got to be tough, play smart, and work hard. No one understands this more than Ford Motor Company. They built the best team in the game with Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks 45 years straight, the iconic Ford Bronco, and the most powerful Ford Explorer ever. Shop online at buyfordnow.com or visit your local Ford dealer to buy or custom build the perfect truck or SUV for you. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
If there's one thing that you can count on every spring, it's that we're going to have to deal with some hail. J-Tech Construction is the company to call to make it right again. J-Tech Construction specializes in siding, roofing, windows, and gutters, even solar. They're trained for insurance claims assistance, and they can help with your insurance company. Turn to the team the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Use your favorite search engine to find J-Tech Construction online and schedule a free estimate today.
The Huskers provide the best on the field, and so does Kubota. The new Kubota L60 Limited Edition Series provides the best package for affordability, quality, and comfort, like the deluxe Grand L factory-installed cab or spacious open operator station. Maximize performance with Kubota's best-in-class HST Plus transmission and many other features of the L60 LE Series. Experience the Kubota difference. Visit NebraskaKubotaDealers.com or see Sandberg Implement in Gering or Dinkle Implement in Norfolk.
There's nothing better than the smoky aroma of grilled beef at the ballpark. This is Anne Marie with the Nebraska Beef Council reminding you to pick up a package of steaks or burgers for your next tailgate party. Whether you're setting up in the parking lot or cheering from home, nutritious beef is a home run choice when cheering on the Huskers. Visit beefitswhatsfordinner.com for delicious beef recipes, grilling tips, and tailgate inspirations. Beef, it's what's for dinner in Nebraska.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. As we welcome you back to hour number 2 of Sports Nightly, I'm Jessica Coody, and time to talk a little Nebraska track and field coming off the Big Ten Outdoor Championship. 6 individual Big Ten titles, the men finishing 4th, women finishing 5th. And to talk a little bit about the weekend, we welcome in Dusty Jonas and Brenton Emanuel, a couple of assistant coaches for Nebraska track and field. Well, Brenton, overall, when you guys left the meet on Sunday, how'd you feel about how the teams did?
I think, for where the team is right now, we were pretty excited. And to end with the win in the 4x4 was very exciting for the whole squad. I think the kids were really excited. Coach Jonas smiled for the first time this year after that 4x4. So it was a good day. I think we're still building. We're very young, but I think it was a good end for us this outdoor season.
We're going to dive all into the 4x400 because that was perhaps the biggest upset of the entire weekend. But how about the high jumpers sweeping both men's and women's, both indoor and outdoor, with Mason Connor and Jenna Rogers? Dusty, let's start with Mason, and he had a dramatic finish as well. It came down to his final attempt to win it, right?
Yeah, he caused a lot of people a lot of stress yesterday. So it was a great competition, and he really got it together when he needed to. I think he's coming around at the right time of the year, so I think we can expect some good things from him moving forward.
Yeah, he's really been making some noise for a while now. Did you guys expect him to be the kind of athlete that he's turned out to be when he is brought here to Nebraska?
I think, yeah, because I've always been pretty particular about who I've brought in. For jumpers, same thing with Coach Pepin, who was my head coach and still the head coach, and been a good mentor to me. You got to get the right people to do their job, and Mason has never backed away from a challenge, and he's a clutch competitor, and he did it again. And like I said, I don't know if I lost some hair or got a few more grays yesterday, but he really, really did a great job.
And how about Jenna Rogers as well, sweeping, and she's just seems like a fantastic human being both on and off the track, but for her to do what she did, how special was that?
I mean, yeah, she's an absolute monster, man. She came in, had a rough first year, and has really picked up and done a phenomenal job. I mean, it's no small feat to go indoor and outdoor champions, on both genders. That's incredibly tough to do. Both Jenna and Mason really worked their tails off this year, and kind of trusted in everything we were doing, and it's coming around at the right time. So it's really incredible for them to do what they did this year, and the group in general. So,
is that a sense of pride when you walk away? Hey, we swept both men's and women's, both indoor, outdoor. I mean, do they feed off of each other? I guess in that sense.
I'd like to think so. I think for everybody it was kind of a sense of relief, because when you're at a certain level you expect to win, and anytime you go into a conference meet or a championship meet, you always have some nerves. So I think in some ways, if you saw their reactions, it was more of a sense of relief than anything else.
And Britton, how about Maxwell Otterdahl? I know you coach sprints and hurdles, but could you give us a perspective how special it was for him, how impressive it was for him to sweep both the shot put and the discus?
Well, last night I talked to him at the gas station at one of our stops, and I said, "Max, great job, man." He's like, "Yeah, that discus was kind of out of nowhere." So he kind of shocked himself winning the discus. The shot put, he was a first-team All-American last year at North Dakota State. Indoor did not go as well as he had hoped, but I think he bounced back big, winning the Big Ten. Obviously Alex Talley's kind of battling some injuries right now, So Max stepped up, did his job, and we have the defending champion Berger on our roster as well. So for what Max did was pretty amazing, you know, especially after his indoor season. I think he had a fire kind of lit under him, and he took care of business in both events. And then discus, he said, like, Coach, I don't know how that happened type of thing. He's like, I don't know. I shocked myself, but it's pretty cool. So I know he's very happy, you know, and for his family's a really big throws family too. So, I mean, just them adding to that collection of trophies that they have already is pretty cool to see.
How strong is that throws lineup, both men's and women's? You had some women do some special things as well.
I would not want to fight with them at all, I'll tell you that much. Axelina is a monster. For her, that was a big PR for her. Again, you know, freshman year indoors, probably didn't go as well as she had hoped. She was 12th indoors at the national meet, was runner-up indoors. So I think for her to have that big pop-off was like a 60-centimeter PR for her outdoors. She was very happy. The javelin with Maddie Harrison, the school record, was a good thing too. So they're very, very deep in what they're doing over there. They work really hard. They have a really good vibe, good energy, and it's definitely paying off for them.
And there aren't too many girls that I can think of that are from 60 feet as a freshman in college. So that's no small feat either.
I mean, if you see Axelina, she looks like she's going to be amazing. I mean, she's the nicest kid in the world too. I wouldn't get in a fight with her, but she's the nicest kid in the world.
Oh, she could definitely take both of us,
Right,
probably at the same time.
Absolutely.
Probably solo, 1 versus 2.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, well, I did bury the lead here with this one because how about the men's 4x400 meter relay? The upset of the entire meet. They came in 9th seeded. The 4 guys that ran it: Jacob Hyde, Alex Nelson, Corey Berg, and Nick Bryant. So, Britton, take me through how, I guess, when you go in 9th seeded, how difficult that is just to be seeded 9th.
You know, it's kind of tough because, you know, our goal this past weekend was try to get a qualifying time for the regional meet. And before the race, I told those guys, hey, you guys have nothing to lose. Go shock the world. Now, I was hoping for a qualifying time. I didn't expect them to win when I said those things to them. But after the race, I said, you know, you guys shocked the world for sure. I mean, Coach Jonas and I were sitting right by each other. We looked at each other like, what just happened here? We just won the 4x4 out of nowhere. So it was pretty amazing. For a senior like Alex Nelson to go out with a win like that was pretty cool to see. Jacob Hyde, he's battled through some injuries, had some COVID stuff in the fall as well. You know, it was good to see those guys come back around and kind of finish on a really high note. And then Nick Bryant being a mid-year addition for us, as quirky as he is, you know, he ran his butt off and he was a dog out there, man. 45-97 split. One of the fastest splits we had this year, if not the fastest, I would say.
Definitely the fastest.
And then, like I said, with Corey, just being a battler, you know, he just did his thing. He's a guy. He's always a good glue guy. That's always going to, you know, keep you in the race and try to give you a lead if he can.
I know you guys both work on the relay teams and on this relay team specifically, but you just mentioned what each guy brings. But how do you go about putting together? Okay, these 4 guys could potentially do something special. How do you go about that, Dusty?
I think a lot of it's just looking at what they're doing in training, who fits where the best, and like you said, we only run 3 relays all year for whatever reason, whether it was weather's, injury, you know, whatever. And we kind of settled on this team at Drake, you know, 3 weeks ago. They were in a great time there, and said these are the horses we're rolling with, and let's go. And you know, like we spoke about earlier, it's tough to win anything out of the first heat. So they ran their tails off and worked hard at it all year, and it was really special to see a lot of those guys come away with gold medal.
Why was it such an upset? I mean, why? I mean, I know Ohio State, Iowa, both 2 top 10 teams, but why is it so hard to win in that first heat compared to the second heat?
I mean, I think their best time this year was 3:02 by Iowa. So we're going in with a 7-second deficit. So just kind of being logical is like the chances are kind of slim. And then just, you know, typically the competition around you is not as strong as that first heat. You know, when you have fast guys to run against, you're going to push a little bit harder, you know. And the good thing is our heat was all around 3:09 for the top 3 teams. So we had somebody to push us, but because of the little snafu to the start, it was just us and Rutgers basically from the start of the gun, would you say?
Yeah.
And it was basically they were by themselves for 3 of the legs. And so, I mean, they did it on their own, which is kind of cool because Iowa had Purdue and they had Ohio State as well, pushing them, and we didn't have anyone really besides Rutgers to kind of push the lead and get out there on us. So, I mean, it's just tough, and mentally you're a little worried that someone's going to pass you up in the next heat too, and so they had to just run kind of scared in a sense too, just get out there and run as fast as you can, and like I said, just walk off with no regrets, and we'll see what happens. And they did that, and we got the dub.
Visiting with Dusty Jonas and Brenton Emanuel with Nebraska Track and Field. So at what point did you think, wow, that was a really good time and we might win this thing?
We didn't.
Not until the second he finished. To be honest, Dusty said to me, he's like, hey, I think we could medal possibly. We'll be top 5. I said, and I'm very nonchalant with my emotions. I'm like, okay, we'll see. And then we saw the clock ticking up, and it was like 3:07, 3:08, 3:09. Like, holy crap, we just won this thing.
We looked at each other incredibly confused, and it was one of those deals where we're like, oh my,
yeah,
this just happened, And so you never know. That's why you run the races. I mean, that's why they have track meets.
Yep.
It's so cool too, because I mean, if for those that might not have ever watched or seen a track and field meet, it's the very last event, and everybody is just packed in around the track. It's loud, it's emotional. How special was that moment for those 4 guys when they look up and realize, hey, we're the Big Ten champs, and arguably the most exciting event in track and field?
I think, Jacob Howard, who never smiles, had a huge grin on his face, and he was so excited. Alex with his family, him being a senior was good for him just to see him celebrating like that. That's his first gold medal in a relay from what he told me yesterday, so that was really exciting for him. And then Nick, coming in from one of my rival schools I used to coach against and run against in college, and, so I told him that, I'll get you a gold medal in a ring one day. And for him to get a medal and then obviously get a ring for being a Big Ten champion on your event was pretty special too. So it was really cool. I mean, I'm really happy for those guys and Coach Jonas and myself. It was just a kind of cool moment for us.
All right, what's next? What does the next couple weeks look like for this track and field team?
Well, we got the NCAA preliminary round, not this weekend, but the next, in Fayetteville, Arkansas. The top competitors, depending on event, will advance on to the national championships in Eugene, Oregon. So we're hoping to get another large group out to Eugene to compete for a championship and some All-American honors.
Well, Dusty Jonas, Brenton Emanuel, we appreciate you guys spending some time with us. Congratulations on a great weekend, and we can't wait to see that 4x400 again, right? Coming up in a couple weeks?
Hopefully.
All right. Well, guys, appreciate your time, and best of luck moving forward. We got to step aside for another quick break here on Sports Nightly, but up next we're going to continue talking Nebraska softball regional action with Chris Plank. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
Welcome to Ag Answers, where we answer common questions related to farming and ranching. Today's topic, animal agriculture. There's been a lot of talk suggesting that giving up meat is good for the environment. However, livestock emissions only account for less than 4% of greenhouse gas emissions, according to the Environmental Protection Agency. Also, by reducing meat in your diet, you're missing out on all sorts of beneficial nutrients like protein, iron, and zinc. This message is brought to you by Nebraska's corn and soybean farmers.
Momentum. It's building at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln with game-changing work in precision agriculture, nanoscience, and digital humanities. We're unlocking mysteries in brain research, solving the impossible with remote surgery using robots, and we're creating bold futures with world-leading research in early childhood education. We don't slow down, and we're not letting up. We are Nebraska.
2-ball pitch, and Gray swings and lifts it deep left field, all the way back, and it is gone! A towering home run over the scoreboard in left, and the Huskers take the lead!
The Nebraska softball team moves into regionals for the first time since 2016. Hear all the action on selected Huskers radio network affiliates, Huskers.com, and the official Nebraska Athletics app.
Shop Woodhouse Buick GMC first for all your vehicle needs. With 2 ways to shop, we make car buying easy. Purchase your new or certified pre-owned vehicle all from the comfort of your own home with available pickup and delivery options. Plus, chat with a sales team member, reserve your vehicle, and complete a credit application online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. Or visit our climate-controlled showroom for comfortable shopping year-round. Streamlining your car buying experience. This is Woodhouse Buick GMC. We are professional grade.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Welcome to Ag Answers. Today we're talking about renewable biofuels like corn ethanol and soy biodiesel. Electric vehicles continue to make headlines as we look for ways to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. But did you know by using ethanol, you can reduce greenhouse gas emissions by up to 46% compared to traditional gasoline, and by up to 86% when you use biodiesel compared to petroleum diesel? Locally produced biofuels are the here and now solution to combating climate change. They are good for our air, good for our wallets, and good for Nebraska. This message is brought to you by Nebraska's corn and soybean farmers.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
If I won one of the 8 new trucks the Nebraska Lottery is giving away in Trucks and Bucks 2022, I'd be off-roading all the time, through muddy riverbeds, across dusty prairies. I'd treat that truck like a tank. I'd be merciless.
Can I ride along?
Only if you wear shoe covers to protect the carpeting, promise not to eat or drink anything inside the cab, and polish the dashboard when you leave.
Trucks and Bucks is back, and you could win one of 8 new trucks. Top prize odds 1 in 336,000.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. This one is hammered out in center field, sending Jackson back towards the warning track, and this one's gone. It gets over. And Max Anderson with a 2-run bomb, and the Huskers take an early lead 2-0.
Tomorrow, Nebraska baseball will take on the Oral Roberts Golden Eagles at 6:35 p.m. Central. Huskers Radio Network pregame coverage will begin at 6. Tune into your local affiliate or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
They say if you listen hard enough, you can hear the corn grow. It's true. When you're out in the field, you understand its challenges and what it needs to thrive. Channel Seedsmen bring insights from the field to our team of Bayer plant breeders. Their knowledge inspires our product development. From your best ground to your most challenging conditions, our products are designed to perform in your fields. Visit channellistens.com to see our latest innovations. Always read and follow IRM where applicable, grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
The Sports Nightly Hotline is brought to you by Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first 18 brands, 16 convenient locations. Simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com. As we welcome you back to Sports Nightly. Joining us via our Sports Nightly Hotline is Chris Plank. He's the voice of Oklahoma softball, but also will be calling the Women's College World Series for Westwood 1 coming up here in a few weeks for the second year in a row. Plank, for joining us. It is postseason softball time.
Let's go. This is one of the best times of the year, Jess. I'm so pumped to be on with you. I'm sure your producer hates me because I was terrible at trying to get connected here. So it's the best time of the year, man. Mayhem is here. It's what it's all about for softball fans.
Well, I wanted to get you on because Nebraska softball back in the postseason and going to a familiar spot if you're an Oklahoma softball fan, Oklahoma State. And so you called all of the series, all of the regular season series, the Big 12 championship, but then also in the regional with Nebraska is North Texas, who you are also familiar with. So thought you could give us a perspective on both the opponents we potentially could be seeing here if you're a Nebraska softball fan. So let's start with the opponent number 1 and North Texas and what we need to know about North Texas. I know this is their first appearance in the NCAA tournament. They're coming off their first conference tournament win or championship in Conference USA, but what do we need to know in the matchup wise with North Texas?
Yeah, they're really good. They're really good. Jess, I was impressed with them. You know, they've got a championship coach in Rodney Didney, who's done a really nice job there. You know, former Sooner person you know very well. Reagan Rogers is part of their coaching staff now, and she's done a really nice job with them. So, yeah, they're not a team that I think Nebraska is going to have problems with. And I'm not just pandering here. I'm not playing pander bear. I think Nebraska is going to roll them. But also with that, if it comes down to it, they can mash a little bit. You know, they can flat out swing it. So I'm a big fan of what North Texas has done, but I think they're still a few years away from where, you know, you could put them in that UCF category or even what James Madison was last year. They're a good team. They played some good competition. They played against the best in college softball this year. They played Oklahoma. They played Oklahoma State. But, yeah, this is a well-coached team. They are incredible when it comes to the fundamentals of the game. They're fun to watch. But from an Oklahoma perspective, it should be, or excuse me, from a Nebraska perspective, it should be a moment where the Huskers are going to roll.
Yeah, just looking at the stats, I mean, offensive numbers jump off the page, but pitching-wise, it seems to be a two-headed monster with Ashley Peters and Skylar Savage, but looks to be that they do give up some runs, and they do give up some numbers for the opponents hitting-wise.
Yeah, you know, they're we saw, I think, gosh, I was trying to do some work before you got me on, Jess, but I want to say when Oklahoma went there, we saw about 4 or 5 different pitchers, and they would just rotate arms, and they could never find any consistency. But, you know, the strength to me for Nebraska, and you can correct me if I'm wrong this season, is their ability to put the ball in play. They can go out and mash. So with that said, I don't know if there's a pitching staff that can really do a job of keeping Nebraska in the park, right? I think they're going to score runs against people. So for me, you know, that's going to be something to watch this weekend. And I know some low-scoring games in the Big Ten, but I just really think Oklahoma. I keep saying Oklahoma. I'm so used to talking to you about Oklahoma, Jess. I just think Nebraska is in a position to where they've got a really good chance to make some noise in this regional. Again, Oklahoma State's really good. Oklahoma State's really good, but to me, with what you've seen over the last couple of weeks from Nebraska and how they've rolled in the Big Ten, they've got a chance, if they don't take North Texas lightly and stumble at all, they've got a chance to really, really do something special this weekend.
All right, let's dive into Oklahoma State, and we're visiting with Chris Plank, the voice of Oklahoma softball. Also, will be on the call for Westwood 1 in the Women's College World Series. You know, again, not a team that their offensive numbers don't really jump off the page to you, but it's really their pitching and defense seems to be the strength of this team.
Yeah, you know what? And you said Oklahoma State, right?
Yep.
Okay, here's what I've seen about Oklahoma State. My feed cut out for just a second. They're really well coached. Now, this past weekend, Jez, they did something that I won't lie to you. I don't think I agreed with very much. They got into a situation where they probably could have had a little bit more momentum than they did, right? It seemed like they were in control against Oklahoma, and they stopped the game down a couple of times. You know, they just kind of went into a situation where it's almost as if they slow played things when they had everything going in their direction. So usually well coached, they were able to overcome it. I'm just here to tell you, with Miranda Ellis not being 100%, I think they're a little bit vulnerable, and that shows you how impressive they are, because I say that knowing, Jess, that they had just beaten Oklahoma, right? So they've got some things that they need to and have to do better, Oklahoma State, that is. But Kelly Maxwell is a witch. She's really been pitching well. When I say that, how she moves the ball and what she's able to do, it's like a magician in the circle. She's something else, and she's going to be a problem. Morgan Day, you know, they had an injury with their staff, but Morgan Day has come along and really, really done some nice things. So, you know, they've played that transfer portal, and they played it wisely. And in Morgan Day, they've got themselves someone who can make a really big difference for them. But I'm here to tell you right now, they're vulnerable. You know, they can be beat. They've shown that. They lost, 5 straight down the home stretch of the season before they barely squeaked by Kansas in the Big 12 tournament. I like them a lot. They're fun to watch, but man, they can be had. They can be had, and I think it's going to be a fun matchup. I'm sure a lot of eyes on college softball are going to be on this matchup for Nebraska and for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, you're talking about Kelly Maxwell, 238 strikeouts, but when opponents, say Oklahoma, have found success against her, because Nebraska does have some players that can mash, as you mentioned, what have the hitters done to find success against Kelly Maxwell?
You got to be patient. She now again, I'm not by any means a pitching expert. Never have been, but she comes in on your hand, and she makes it very challenging. You know, she'll throw that breaking ball inside to right-handed hitters from that lefty perspective, and she makes it hard. So she is really, really good, Jess, about taking advantage of what's given to her. Attacking hitters, challenging hitters. She's really fun. But in that same vein, she is also one heck of a competitor. When you watch her out there, you can see it on her face. She doesn't hide her emotions. So I'm a big believer in what Kelly Maxwell has done, but I'm also a big believer. You know, I've seen her get hit a few times. I've seen Oklahoma have some success against her. I've seen other teams have success against her. You know, she was really good against Kansas in the Big 12 championship on Thursday. She struggled a little bit, it seemed, with Oklahoma at times, where Oklahoma eventually made a run. But yeah, I'm of the opinion that she is somebody that you can have some success against, but you have just got to be patient.
All right, and what about Oklahoma State's batting lineup? What do we need to know about them?
Well, they've got, their big bomber, Haley Busby, has not been 100% this year. She has struggled throughout the year at the plate. So I am a big Haley Busby fan, high school teammate of Grace Lyons. She's really impressive. But in that same vein, Jess, you know, they've got a lineup around her. They've got players that you feel like have been around for a long time, and Sydney Pennington, their third baseman, who plays really well. They've got themselves a crew. They've got themselves a really good group. But I'm of the opinion that that's kind of where their weakness has been, because of how things have gone with the injury to Miranda Ellis, right? You know, you look at a situation where they've had chances, right, to blow some teams out, and they really haven't taken advantage of those opportunities. So, you know, they've got a good lineup. They've got veteran players, but the question just continues to be whether or not those big-time boppers, those big-time hitters in those situations can step up and get those clutch hits. They haven't done it consistently this year. I mean, Jess, look how they won their game on Saturday against Oklahoma. What'd they do? It was on a bases-loaded walk. You know, how did they score their runs? It was because Oklahoma walked 6 batters. So it's wild to see just how much of a struggle that it's been for Oklahoma State at the plate. But the potential is there, right? And I know if you look at the season numbers, you might say, wow, their season numbers are actually pretty good. But, again, they're hitting under 300 as a team, and they haven't had a breakout against a quality opponent. So, you know, it's kind of the opposite, right? Nebraska's kind of struggled pitching it at times, but, man, can they mash? Oklahoma State has really thrown it well. But they've struggled offensively, and I think that's going to be something to keep an eye on come this weekend in Stillwater.
Visiting with Chris Blank as we preview the upcoming weekend regional, the opponents for Nebraska softball. Chris, what about Oklahoma State's ballpark? Will it fly out a little bit there or what?
Yeah, did you ever get to go? Did you ever go to Stillwater Series?
I've never been to Oklahoma State's ballpark. I've been to their baseball stadium, but not their softball park.
Yes. Softball-wise, all right, amenities, you're not going to be wowed, okay? You're not going to – it's not going to be a place where, as a Nebraska fan, if you're making this road trip, it's not a place that you're going to come away from saying, man, we need this in Lincoln. It's just – it's small. Our buddy Nate Rohr will probably be calling the game from outside because they don't even – you know, their press box is a little bit smaller. But they get after it. They've got a deck out beyond the left field wall. They got the paddle people that are constantly pounding away with their paddles.
Oh, no, the paddle people are in softball too?
The paddle people are in softball too. They have built, Jess, you know, you got a very creative family, right? Imagine like if your dad or one of your cousins or your brother got after and just started making a deck out in Sentinel outside. That's what it looks like to have in left field. They have this incredible deck, and it's always packed. and they have cars that park along the outfield wall. They got tailgate going on. They make life pretty tough for the outfielders. So and the whole environment, but it's not a place that you're going to come away from like you do, some really nice softball facilities. And, just off the top of my head, I mean, Michigan's got an incredible facility. But it's also the kind of place to where you got to maintain your focus because they're going to be after you and they're going to be trying to rattle you. And it's going to be a challenge. They're a very good home softball team.
But for a team that hits a lot of bombs, is it friendly to home run hitters?
It's tailor-made. Tailor-made, baby. The ball flies out of there. You're going to love it. And there's a scoreboard in right center field that is almost like target practice for some. So, yeah, you're going to have your opportunities to leave the yard at Cowgirl Softball Stadium.
All right, just got a couple more for you. Obviously, a lot of Nebraska fans know Jordy Ball really well, are going to follow her career no matter where she goes. Any update on her as you go into the postseason? She didn't pitch at all in the Big 12 tournament. What might her status look like going into the postseason?
Yeah, I we'll see. I don't really know. I'll say this about Jordy, and you mentioned the Papillion, Nebraska product. I'm sure a lot of people very familiar with her. One-time Nebraska commit, but she is just when you hear about people that are built different, it always sounds kind of corny, right? She's built different, but she really is built different. Now you're standing next to her, and she's a true freshman, and you think she is not just a senior, but like an adult professional softball player with the way that she is she is an impressive human being. And everything is structured in her life, right? When you're on road trips, and if you get up early, you can count it like it's automatic that she's going to be up at 5 a.m. doing her homework. And when she's done with her homework at 5 a.m., she's going to hit the gym. Then she's going to fuel up. I mean, she is just a freak of nature in how consistent she is. But, we'll see. So I'm not putting anything past her. I don't know about this weekend. I don't know about the Super Regionals. I think, we'll see about the World Series. But they're going to talk to the doctors, like Coach said last night on ESPN, and get a good feel from there. I think Oklahoma's still a team that can win a championship even without Jordy Ball. But, man, the energy, the swag, the enthusiasm, the skill that she brings, it's unlike anything I've seen from a true freshman pitcher. We've seen true freshman hitters come in like Sid Romero and, gosh, even Lauren Chamberlain when she was a freshman and Jocelyn Allo. But I've never seen a pitcher. You've seen good freshman pitchers, but never one that comes in with this kind of attitude. I mean, she walks into that circle, and I saw an OU coach, maybe it was Brent Venables tweeted, she's like Conor McGregor, and that's how you feel. She's got that swag and that swing around the circle. So she definitely makes Oklahoma better, elite, if you will. But, I mean, I don't know if we're feeling good about, seeing her at the very least to start this regional this weekend.
All right, and I know you're doing a lot of prep work for the Women's College World Series, and I think it's been made clear that Oklahoma is, the clear favorite. But other than that, there's a lot of parity in college softball this year. How exciting is that for the sport and for the playoffs and how this thing might unfold to even see which 8 teams do make it to Oklahoma City?
Yeah, it's a great question and a great point. It's fun, right? Usually you would come into the postseason and you're like, all right, here's these 8 super regional hosts. 7 of these teams are going to the World Series, and maybe an eighth. Maybe an eighth. It might get challenged by someone. Last year, you've got James Madison making the run. Georgia was an underdog, even though they were playing at home. They were hosting Duke's Regional, and they ended up in the World Series. They weren't expected there. It's wild to think about it, but Florida State's even run to the World Series was an underdog run based on them losing their first game. Virginia Tech pushed UCLA to the limits last year in the Super Regional. So, and of course, and I mentioned James Madison making its run from out of nowhere, being on the road in regionals and Super Regionals and finding themselves in the Women's College World Series. So I'm loving how this sport is expanding. I mean, look, UCF is hosting. That's a big deal, Jess. UCF is hosting, and you had the history of Louisiana Lafayette's of the world that did it as recently as 2016. But to see a team hosting, and really you could almost make a case for 3 American Athletic Conference teams who could have been in that discussion in Wichita and South Florida, who has the best pitcher in the country. So parity is here, and it's awesome for this sport. And I am so excited to see how this plays out because, you know, I look at these 16 regional sites, and I mean, I see underdogs that we could be talking about next week, Nebraska included, that could be playing in a super regional. I mean, listen, Washington's been really good, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if Texas comes out of there. This is crunch time, and there's been some teams that have been struggling late, and then there's teams that are surging, like Nebraska, like UCF, and maybe they end up having something to say about who ends up in Oklahoma City for the Women's College World Series, because I think this is as wildly balanced outside of number one as we've had in college softball.
Yeah, and for the record, as soon as the matchup came up on the screen, Plank texted me and said, I like the matchup for you guys, so mark it down.
Right away.
Plank
Right away.
likes Nebraska going to Stillwater. Well, Chris, I appreciate your time as always. Love talking with you. And, hey, we'll get you on again here in a couple of months as we start talking football and Oklahoma coming to Nebraska this year.
Yeah, I already have Nebraska fans trying to make bets with me on this, Jess, from our Fox Sports radio show. So I'm all about it. Let's go. Let's have some fun. I can't wait. I've never been to Lincoln, and football isn't coming, but we got a World Series to get to first for the Huskers, so let's make it happen.
Absolutely. All right, Plank, appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jess. Thank you, guys.
All right, and that was Chris Plank, again, joining us via our Sports Nightly hotline. And as a reminder, buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. More from Sports Nightly coming up right after this.
A tradition of winning doesn't happen overnight. Like any team, you got to be tough, play smart, and work hard. No one understands this more than Ford Motor Company. They built the best team in the game with Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks 45 years straight. The iconic Ford Bronco and the most powerful Ford Explorer ever. Shop online at buyfordnow.com or visit your local Ford dealer to buy or custom build the perfect truck or SUV for you. Based on 1977 to 2021 calendar year total sales.
Happy Monday, everybody! Yay!
Sure glad the weekend is over.
I know. Nothing's better than a new work week. Yay!
The proceeding was a dramatization, but it could happen now that a Monday night Powerball drawing has been added. Along with the Wednesday and Saturday night drawings, now you can also win Monday Night Millions. Who knows? It may change everyone's view of Monday.
Let's have a 3-hour Monday meeting. Yay!
Powerball from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help us with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. J.D. Power ranked Shelter Insurance #1 in customer satisfaction among auto insurers in the Central Region and #1 in price.
See Agent Terry Dingwell in Fremont, Katie Bargman in Columbus, or Janelle Moore in Holdridge.
You already got the hat, the jersey, maybe even the occasional red and white face paint. So kick things off right this season and add the FNBO Husker Visa debit card to the list. Pay loud and proud for every Husker decal, t-shirt, or hot dog at the game. Wear your heart on your sleeve and in your wallet with the Husker Visa debit card, free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hey folks, this is Famous Dave. You know the difference between an ordinary get-together and a famous one? At most parties, the food's pretty forgettable. But imagine your table loaded with award-winning barbecue, chopped pork sandwiches, roasted chicken, and mouth-watering juicy ribs. From birthdays to corporate events, any size groups, we'll customize our menu to fit your budget. Make your next get-together fun and famous with catering from Famous Dave's. Visit famousdaves.com.
Whether you compete on the court, at the track, on the field, or in the fields, winning isn't just a goal. It's a mindset, shaped, honed, and defined throughout the season. That's why farmers pushing themselves to be the best plant DeKalb brand corn. Wherever you compete, winning has roots. Perform at your best with DeKalb. Always read and follow grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
Welcome back into our final segment here of Sports Nightly on this Monday evening. I'm Jessica Coody, and man, what a fast 2 hours. It's been a fun 2 hours, though, talking lots of Huskers softball, the Big Ten champions, and headed to the regional this weekend, starting Friday at 5 o'clock in Stillwater. First opponent, North Texas, 5 o'clock. That game will be shown on ESPN+, but as always, you can hear Nate Rohr on the Huskers Radio Network starting at 4:50, and he'll be with you the entire time down there covering Husker softball. And so, yeah, you can tune in on Huskers.com or check your local affiliates on where you can hear that. But so the winners, Oklahoma State will play when that game's done around 7:30, and the winners of the two games will play at 1 o'clock on Saturday. So there's your schedule there. And then the losers will move through the bracket with the finals coming up on Sunday and 3 o'clock with the if necessary following that. So lots of softball coming your way. I'm headed to Stillwater. I'm in Oklahoma, if you missed that. I'm in Oklahoma and driving up there. We'll be there with the team starting Thursday. That's when they'll have their first practice there in Stillwater. They'll have a media availability, and then they'll get things kicked off on Friday. And yeah, it should be fun. I can't wait. This team is just been such a pleasure to watch and cover this entire year. And, you know, despite Oklahoma State being a number 7 seed, a national seed, I don't think this team, Nebraska softball, is not scared of anybody. They know they got to go beat good teams to get to where they want to be. So not scared at all of whoever is in front of them. They're going to go compete and give it their all. We have a fun interview coming out. We'll drop it on our podcast platforms coming up tomorrow morning with Courtney Wallace. She goes through all of the weekend and also previews the upcoming weekend. One thing I'm mad at myself I did not ask her about was she was one of 3 Huskers that received their diplomas this weekend, and they graduated this Nebraska had their graduation over the weekend on Saturday, and it was crazy. Ronnie Green was actually at the softball celebration last night, and he announced this. They also put this on social media, so you might have already seen or heard this, but as they went through all of the diplomas, literally as the last diploma was handed out, that's when the softball team won the Big Ten title. So they put it up on the big screen. There was a big cheer by all of the graduates, so it was really cool. And then last night at Bowlin Stadium for the celebration with the fans, Ronnie Green actually announced the 3 graduates. So Courtney Wallace, one of those Huskers that received her degree, and so congratulations. I wish I would have asked her about that, but I ran out of time, and I know it's a busy time for them, but cool moment for her, and really cool perspective on this team and being a leader and a team captain and how they got to this point. A little programming note for you. Okay, so baseball back in action here in Lincoln, 6:35 tomorrow, first pitch against ORU. Greg, hopefully if he made it off the bus back from Champaign, he'll be back on the call with that one with Ben McLaughlin. Pre-game show starting at around 6 o'clock for that one here on the Huskers Radio Network. So this is we won't have a Sports Nightly show on Tuesday. We'll be back for a 2-hour show on Wednesday, and then baseball back on the airwaves Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The Big Ten scheduling that to give those teams that make the Big Ten tournament a chance, an extra day to prepare. So they'll play Thursday, Friday, Saturday this week. So only one more show of Sports Nightly, barring any weather changes, but Wednesday night, 2-hour full show here on Sports Nightly, and then we'll have baseball the rest of the way and softball for some of you that are tuning in for softball. So still a busy weekend on the diamond here for us on our Huskers Radio Network. And if you are looking to buy tickets, if you're trying to go down to Stillwater and maybe watch this team, I'm seeing that tickets are going on sale starting at 10 a.m. on Wednesday morning. You'll have to go to okstate.com/NCAA softball. So you can get all the information there on if you're looking for tickets to go support Husker softball in person in Stillwater. All right, well, I think that'll do it here on this 2-hour edition of Sports Nightly. Thanks so much to Nate Rohr for coming in and helping us out as we had a switch up with the baseball and the bus ride. Thanks to Tim Mulhaupt and Andrew Dowdy back at the studio for running things for us, and Mike Elliott making all of the technical stuff happen for us, and Rhonda Revell, always a pleasure, and thanks so much for her to coming in studio. If you missed any of the interviews, you can find them on our Huskers Radio Network podcast platforms. Thank you so much for listening, and enjoy the week, everybody.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Don't let the cold winter worry you. As Nebraska's leading supplier of propane, you can count on Sap Brothers to keep your family warm this winter. You're like family, and your safety is the #1 priority of Sap Brothers. When it comes to your propane needs, Sap Brothers has you covered. Visit www.sapbros.net/petroleum to find your local Sap Brothers propane expert. Celebrating 50 years of fueling America's heartland and welcoming guests, Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Husker Athletics.
The 2022 Nissan Rogue Sport is street savvy, road trip ready, and always fun to drive. Equipped with standard features like rear automatic braking, blind spot warning, and high beam assist, so you can surround yourself with confidence on the road. Plus, explore the 3 Rogue Sport trims to find the one that's right for you and your lifestyle. Choose your experience and shop, finance, and purchase online at woodhouse.com or in store at Woodhouse Nissan in Bellevue or at Woodhouse Place.
If there's one thing that you can count on every spring, it's that we're going to have to deal with some hail. J-Tech Construction is the company to call to make it right again. J-Tech Construction specializes in siding, roofing, windows, and gutters, even solar. They're trained for insurance claims assistance, and they can help with your insurance company. Turn to the team the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Use your favorite search engine to find J-Tech Construction online and schedule a free estimate today.
As the Huskers head to the 7th inning stretch, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so hot. The air conditioning is out again. SOS, he screams, and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. Call or visit soshvac.com today.
SOS to the rescue.